Dear students, the today's discussion I am going to take up a small topic, which is the Grashof law. This law, with this law, we are going to study how a four-bar mechanism should be designed. So first of all, let me take a four-bar chain. It consists of four-bar chain consists of four rigid links which are connected in the form of a quadrilateral by four pin joints. There will be four pin joints. As you can see in the sketch, link 1 and 2, you can see here. So link 1 and 2 form a turning pair, link 2 and 3 form a turning pair, 3 and 4 form a turning pair, and 4 and 1 form a turning pair. So in this four bar chain, so whenever a link that makes a complete revolution is known as the crank. That means the link which makes a one complete revolution is known as a crank, and fixed link is known as a frame. The fixed link is a frame, and the link opposite to the fixed link is known as a coupler or connecting rod. The fix of the link opposite to the fixed link is known as a coupler, or it is known as a connecting rod. And finally, the fourth link is known as it is a lever or rocker. This is what a four bar chain consists of. So if you summarize, it consists of four rigid links with turning pairs. The link which rotates is the crank, and the link which is fixed is known as the frame, and link opposite the frame is known as the coupler, and the last link is known as, this is what we call it as a lever or the rocker, right? So how it should be a four bar mechanism should be, what are the conditions? So in this it says that if the length of, in a four bar mechanism, if the length of one of the links is greater than sum of the remaining three links, then four bar mechanism is not possible, because we cannot connect. That is, if any length of the link is greater than the sum of the remaining three links, the four bar mechanism is not possible. And the four links in a mechanism may be different lengths. That may be different lengths, but it should satisfy the Grashoff's law. And as I told you, generally any one link will make a complete revolution related to the other links. Is no, if you design a link which doesn't make a complete revolution, it is of no useful generally. Okay, so this is what the design aspect of the Grashof law, that is a four bar mechanism. What exactly the Grashof law states? So you can see in the slide, the Grashof law states that in a four bar mechanism, the sum of the shortest and longest link should not be greater than the sum of the lengths of the remaining two links. For that, the sum of the longest and shortest link, should not be greater than sum of the remaining two links, as you can see in the sketch here, right? So if you take L plus S, it should be, that is, the longest and shortest link should be less than or equal to remaining two links P and Q. That is, L plus S is less than or equal to P plus Q. So where if you see this sketch, where L is the longest link, S is the shortest link, and PQ are the length of the remaining two links. This is what the Grashoff's law. That means when you are designing a four bar link or four bar mechanism, this condition must be satisfied, then only so it is possible to design four bar mechanism. Okay. Now if you just see the inversions of a Grashof chain, if the different links of a four bar mechanism are fixed, four different mechanisms are obtained. Okay, that's what we call it as the inversion, because four links are there. So at each interval of time, if you are going fixing one link, then naturally you are going to get different mechanisms, what we call it as the inversions. So generally, if the shortest link is treated as frame, the resulting mechanism is known as the double crank mechanism, as shown in figure A. Right? If you fix the shortest link, that is, if you consider the shortest link as a frame, then it is possible to convert rotary motion into the rotary motion. Right? So in this, as you can see in the figure A, if S is fixed, when P rotates, Q will also rotates. It is what we call it as a double crank mechanism. Similarly, if the shortest link is a coupler link, it results in double rocker mechanism. Right? If you are going to make the shortest link as a coupler, then automatically the mechanism you are going to obtain is it is a double rocker mechanism. That means as the P oscillates, Q will also oscillate. Similarly, the third sketch, if you see, if the shortest link is used as the crank, if the shortest link is used as the crank, and any other link as frame, it results in crank rocker mechanism. It results in crank rocker mechanism. That means if the shortest link, if you are allowed to rotate, then other element or other link will oscillate, provided any other link is, if you are making it as a frame. So in this way, if you are going on changing the frame, fixing the different links, you can design a 4-bar mechanism into double crank mechanism, or you can design it to double rocker mechanism, or it can be a crank and rocker mechanism. Okay, so this is what the importance of the Graf-Schaft chain, inversions of Graf-Schaft chain. Right? So ultimately, the end use, what depending upon your functional requirement, you are going to design the system, whether you want rotary to rotary motion, or oscillator to oscillatory motion, or rotary to oscillatory motion. That depends on you, depending upon the end requirement or functional requirement. So like this, if you just on this basis, inversions of 4-bar chain are classified as crank and slotted lever mechanism, double crank mechanism, coupled wheels of a locomotive, and pantograph. Right? These are the inversions. So probably the next video I will be taking about in detail the inversions of 4-bar chain. Thank you.